So we cannot monitor the movement of 300 to 400 motorcycles in northern part of Nigeria. Then why are we employing security agencies? Why are we funding them? President Muhammadu Buhari has failed. Well, what we need to understand is that the terror groups operating in the northwestern part of Nigeria is not a single organization with a leader. They are diverse. We have the ISWAP, the Boko Haram, the Darul Islam, the Ansaru, and the bandits. At least there are 5 notable terror groups operating in the northern part of Nigeria. Now, the bandits also have different leaders located in different states. You have their leaders like Bello Turji, like Manjagara, like Baleri. Now, these are leaders that map out territories for themselves between Zamfara, Kaduna, and Niger states. So sometimes the bandits and the terror groups clash within themselves. So you can see how they occupy territories and unleash their terror activities. What has happened as of the attack on the Kaduna-Abuja train started from sometimes last October of 2021. I happened to be a passenger on the train at that time. And I raised an alarm that the train was attacked. At that time, what they did was to plant an improvised explosive device on the rail track, and the train ran over it. But luckily for us, the train did not stop. So I raised the alarm, and since then there was no action taken on the side of the government, only saying that they have restored the track. But as of taking security measures to ensure the safety of passengers, there was virtually nothing. So the threats you are seeing has evolved over the years. At a time, they only attack passengers who are flying the Abuja-Kaduna route, or the Kaduna-Birnin-Gwari route, or the Zaria-Puntua route, or the ones in Zamfara state or Kaduna state. But having seen that, many of the VIPs have decided to use the airlines. So they are only dealing with people whom they are not going to get much from them. So now they moved away, or not away completely, from attacking passengers on the road to now launching direct attacks on towns and cities. In terms of Kaduna, almost all the settlements in the outskirts of the city are constantly under direct attack by these bandits and terrorists. They also evolved to a point where they impose fines and taxes on villagers. At a certain point in Birnin-Gwari local government, villagers have to gather as much as 40 million naira to give to these terrorists for them to be able to go to their farms and plant their crops, and also they have to pay the same amount to harvest their crops. They have succeeded in impoverishing a large number of our population. Apart from destroying smaller villages within the expanse of Zamfara, Kaduna, and Niger State. What they did now was also to impoverish those that remain, because constantly people kept on selling their homes, their lands, to pay ransom to these terrorists. And another unfortunate development is the fact that people living in those rural locations are more in tune with the terrorist groups, because some of them are direct beneficiaries of part of the ransom, and some of them are also doing it out of fear for their lives. So I can say in it that Nigeria is at war with terror groups and insurgents and bandits. And we must find solutions to this, because apart from our own homegrown terror groups, it appears that the terror groups are also inviting other fighters and terrorists from other parts of West Africa and Central Africa to come into Nigeria. And because there is a systemic failure on the side of the government, they are becoming more audacious. They sometimes even write letters to villages to announce to them that they are coming, and they will come the same day. And ironically, they come in and operate for an hour or two before you see the intervention of security agencies. So people thought that Abuja is a well-protected city, is an oasis of peace. But with the fact that Niger, Kaduna, Nasarawa, and parts of Kogi State are unsafe, naturally there will be the contagious effect of insecurity inside Abuja. A terrorist is a terrorist. And there are two types of terrorists. A terrorist who has picked up arms to kill and kidnap because he wants to establish an Islamic state. Nothing will appease him if not an Islamic state. A terrorist who has picked up arms to fight because he wants to collect hundreds of millions of naira as ransom, nothing will appease him other than if you give him the kind of money he will get when he picks up arms. So, I am not an advocate of acceding to terrorists' demands as long as it's a trade. Any terrorist who wants to lay down his arms and live in a decent society and start up a small business is a different thing from a terrorist who wants to dictate to our state, our nation state. You cannot kill and kidnap people and use it in the name of Islam or any religion. It's not acceptable. They said they are fighting Islamic causes. You rape women, you kidnap children, you extort hundreds of millions of naira and ransom, you kill innocent people. What kind of religion are you professing? What kind of society you are? Which religion? Certainly not Islam. So, acceding to the demands of terrorists, if it is about them dropping their arms and coming to live in a society, is a different thing. But we cannot be giving hundreds of millions of naira to terrorists for them to go and purchase arms and continue to fight our country. What we need in this country is a leader. A leader that will truly be a commander in chief and commander in action and commander in that is 247. That is the kind of commander we need. If you have security reports that bandits or terrorists are about to attack, an agency of government that has such security report It is expected that they have an interagency meeting they do. Why don't they take action over it? It's as if our agencies are virtually unserious because we have a president who is simply thinking that he has given them money and that is all. How do you imagine? Yes, Kuje prison was attacked. They were also attempting to attack law school, Buhari. But we have forgotten that they have attacked Nigerian Defense Academy, kidnapped a soldier and killed a soldier. And since that time, who was paralyzed? Who was sacked? Who resigned? Nobody. You see, if we want to address this problem, apart from allocating resources to our army, it's also holding the head of those agencies accountable. If a military formation or a police formation is attacked without those terrorists paying their price for it, the head of the agency is supposed to be sacked and replaced with another one. Let whoever takes the seat as a head of an agency know that his continuity on that seat is dependent on him being proactive in terms of making sure his responsibility and duties as head of an agency is well executed. Well, I don't have any information of people having a hand in what's happening, but I believe there are questions which we need to ask ourselves. The terrorists have been collecting money in hundreds of millions of naira. When they attacked Greenfield University, Kaduna, they collected over 200 million naira from parents of those students. When they attacked Bethel Baptist High School, Kaduna, they collected close to 200 million. When they attacked School of Agric Mechanization, Kaduna, they collected hundreds of millions. When they attacked a government secondary school, Kankara, government girls secondary school, Kebbi, Federal Government College, Iyauri, and then Government Science College, Kagera, which was my alma mater, and Islamic School in Tegina. They collected hundreds of millions. But you ask yourself, where does this money go? Each time a bandit or terrorist is arrested, you will not see even a shirt of 2,000 naira on his body. There is no mansion owned by terrorists. There is no fleet of expensive cars owned by terrorists. There is nothing to show that these terrorists are the ones who are in control of these finances. So where does all this billion go? Certainly there are forces behind what is happening in this country today. Only on the basis of tracing those funders and sponsors of these terrorist activities can we now have a solution to the problem. I will not say it is totally wrong, but how can a country like this? Kaduna has the largest presence of military locations, and then these bandits are only having their motorcycles and AK-47. They use normal SIM card and phones that we use. We have had about $1 billion was withdrawn from excess school account in the name of security, and we are still unable to crush a riff-raff gangs of bandits with AK-47 on their hands, riding on Jing-Cheng motorcycles. What explanations are we going to make? The nation has spent over 4.2 trillion naira for defense and security in 7 years. And today, 30 motorcycles carrying 2 to 3 people on each of them with AK-47. They can operate for 1 to 2 hours. Kill those they want to kill, kidnap those they want to kidnap in the place, and then go. And then later you see trucks of military moving to the scene. What are we talking about? In the northwestern part of Nigeria, we don't have a forest. It's a plain savanna. In the 21st century, it's impossible for you to hide anywhere in the northern part of Nigeria. We are not having rocky mountains where a gorilla can hide. We don't have such a thick forest like you have in mangrove forest in southern part of Nigeria, in the Delta area. We don't have them. How can a group of terrorists kidnap over 300 students from Islamia school in Tegina and hide for 3 months in Niger State? Kidnap over 100 students from School of Agric Mechanization Mondo and hide until ransom was paid for them too. When you talk to Nigerian security agencies, they will tell you that we know where they are, we monitor their conversation, we monitor their movement. What stops you from taking an action on it? We have to reach a point in this country where we have to learn to storm kidnappers' den and come. Those who will survive should survive. Because even if you don't storm it, they're still going to kill people. What is stopping Nigeria from setting up a drone station in Suleja, Niger State, outside of Abuja, where all that drones do is to move every day to launch attacks on terrorists? Technology of the 21st century has made it possible for our own communication agencies and security agencies to monitor every call, every movement, whether in the day or in the night. So we cannot monitor the movement of 300 to 400 motorcycles in northern part of Nigeria. Then why are we employing security agencies? Why are we funding them? President Muhammadu Buhari has failed. He came into office with a promise to restore order and security in Nigeria. Insecurity was one of the major issues that was used to bring down Jonathan's administration. In those days, even the insecurity was limited to cities where bombs were planted. But today, neither those in the cities nor those in rural areas are free. It is all becoming a terror-infested terrain. That's what Nigeria is becoming today. Let me tell you, you see, we talk too much. Poverty is not an excuse for terrorism. Even though when you compare northerners and southerners, you say southerners, there's more poverty in the north than in the south. But northern Nigerians are richer than the people of Niger, and there is no terrorism in Niger and banditry. People of northern Nigeria are richer than the people of Sudan. People of northern Nigeria are richer than the people of Chad. People of northern Nigeria are richer than people of northern Cameroon. People of northern Nigeria are richer than people of Burkina Faso. People of northern Nigeria are richer than people of Guinea-Bissau and Guinea-Conakry. They are richer than people of Togo. They are richer than people of Cote d'Ivoire. So if those people are poorer than people in northern Nigeria, why was it there is no terrorism, there is only in northern part of Nigeria? The answers are simple. The government has failed. All the security agencies in Nigeria are headed by northerns. I was one of the very few in the early days of this administration. I constantly stood up in the National Assembly to speak on terrorism in the north. There is no insult that I have not been received from many of our people in the north. Each time I stood to speak about insecurity in Kaduna, in Zamfara, in Niger, in Sokoto, in Katsina, the people today who are crying about insecurity were the same people who were insulting me as being anti-Buhari or anti-North or pro-South or undermining, trying to destroy northern Nigeria or to destroy Buhari's government. That is it. Today, the same people, at a certain point, it was one of the issues that were used against me. I should not be in Buhari's party because I'm anti-Buhari. Now, where are the friends of Buhari? All those people defending Buhari and telling him lies about security, especially in the north, where are they today? Hiding. That's it. Well, I just see that as a stunt by the opposition. Because to impeach a president is not that easy, especially when you don't have the numbers. And who is going to initiate the impeachment process? The Senate President Muhammadu Buhari, because he's the one who will naturally be able to facilitate and coordinate activities of the impeachment and Bajamiela. So, if those two people are not in tune with the impeachment, that's one. If the majority of the senators from the ruling party, if you can remember some few months ago, many of them wanted to recap. So they went and met with the president and sat down and said they are not decamping again, they are going to stay with him. So who is the opposition in the National Assembly doesn't have the numbers to impeach a president, but serving him a notice, at least there will be some moral booster on Nigerians that somebody need to pay a price for what he has done, if that is not been achieved. But the possibility of impeachment is not possible. They are giving him 6 months, 6 weeks, and if you look at 6 weeks, they are going on recess. By the time they are back from recess, they are on campaigns. So I that have been in National Assembly, when a senator or group of senators speaks, I'll be able to know what is a fact, what is a fiction. So I simply want Nigerians to think of what that means and not impeaching President Muhammadu Buhari, because if it is possible, let it be done. But it is technically impossible as we have it on the ground now. It's only God that knows who is going to win this election. But we will now make our own projections and then expectations on Nigerians. There are basically two main political parties in Nigeria: the All Progressive Congress and the People's Democratic Party. And their candidates will be the ones on the forefront. Peter Obi has built a strong followership among young people, but mostly from his own part of the country. It's a fact of the matter. Rabi Musa Kwankwaso is strong in Kano State, which is the most important and popular state in northern part of Nigeria. Well, this election is about PDP, APC versus the rest. If the opposition are united, they can take over power from the All Progressive Congress. If they are disunited, the APC will turn back to power. If they are united, behind the leader of the main opposition, which is Atiku Abubakar. They will take over the government of Nigeria. So the divisions that exist, Kwankwaso being on side, Peter Obi being on side, Atiku being on side, is only going to help Tinubu. You see, the ruling party is making calculations on how they are going to win. And any opposition that is not going to go into election as a united force will only serve the interests of the ruling party. But what is a good omen for Nigeria is that every of the 3-4 candidates can take us better from where we are today. Starting from Kwankwaso, you can see how Kwankwaso was able to transform Kano. He has a track record. He has performed. He has secured Kano. He has developed Kano. He has changed the face of Kano State. That is his track record. Peter Obi has proven to be one of these, if there's any word, soundest, in quote, economist. One that knows what to do from day one when he's in office about Nigeria's economy, which is a basic issue in Nigeria. It's a capitalist. The irony of it is that he's running on a Labour Party that's supposed to be a Marxist or communist or socialist party or a workers' party. That's the irony of it. But now, the weakness of Kwankwaso is that Kwankwaso, apart from Kano, Kaduna, and few states in North, cannot be seen in other parts of the country. And as for Peter Obi, the bulk of his supporters still remains those within the southeastern part of Nigeria. And the origin is not enough for you to be president of Nigeria. As for Atiku, he is experienced. He has been an old warhorse on this game. And is also the presidential flag bearer of the main opposition in the country. Because they have the structures, they have the governors, and they have also the spread in all parts of Nigeria. So he's one who is closer to power. But for Aswaju also, you can see he has made his strong contributions in Lagos. He has transformed Lagos. He has raised the standard of Lagos to where it is, and he has also achieved. And he has also been in terrain. He's one of those who fought for democracy. And one of those who were in the trenches for democracy. And he's also one of those who saved the country on a number of occasions. And his deputy also was experienced. One who was a governor of Borno State at its most crisis-ridden moment, most bloody moment. One who was able to serve the people of Borno and also succeeded in bringing a successor that almost everyone loves. They have their own positives. So now, the weakness of Atiku will be that there are governors who are still angry, who still feel changed after the primaries. They thought they are thinking power should go to the south, but now Atiku took it over, so they are thinking of what to do. So we have that problem. And for the Aswaju issue, religion has become a major issue that is being used. And then with Christian Association Nigeria making their own position on that things, this is what we have. So in the general sense, whoever is going to be president of this country out of these 4 people, Nigeria will be better than where it is today. Because they know the yearnings, the aspiration, and the crisis we are facing, especially 2, security and the economy. Let me tell you the fact of the matter. The situation we are in Kaduna State, in Niger State, in Zamfara State, if a Christian will solve the problem, people will be happy. Toby Amosu won gold medal in International Athletic Federation Championship in Oregon. Almost every Nigerian is clapping, is celebrating her and rejoicing her. Nobody is saying she is Christian from Yoruba. So, if you have a leader who will succeed in addressing Nigeria's problem, nobody in the history of Nigeria will ever care whether a person is a Muslim or Christian. But we live in a religiously and ethnically, if there's any word like that, sensitive nation. And I believe that the situation we are in today calls for a man who can solve the problem, or a team that can solve that problem. Don't condemn and reject Obi because he's Igbo or he's Christian. Condemn him and reject him if he's incompetent. Don't condemn and reject Tinubu and Shetima because of religion. Measure them up and put them on scale on issue of competence and their capacity to deliver. Don't condemn and reject Atiku because he was vice president of Obasanjo, and for everyone who knows that that was a turbulent moment for him and for the nation also. So as far as I'm concerned, a competent leader that can squarely tackle our security challenges, neutralize terrorists and bandits, restore order and law and order and peace in the nation, unify Nigerians, is the Nigerian leader we need. Whoever takes over as a president of Nigeria, he has to take hard decisions at the early hours when people like him, before it's too late. Because you can do the right thing at the wrong time, or the wrong thing at the right time. So you need to do the right thing at the right time. The next president of Nigeria must be able to take on this responsibility to restore Nigeria's economy. One is to cut on frivolous importations. We import everything in Nigeria. Orange juice, chocolate, sweets, cosmetics. We import everything. Things that we can do. Go to Ethiopia and see. Go to a typical supermarket or grocery store. 80% of what is in those stores there are produced in those countries. So we cannot have a central bank that will today come out with a list of items that are banned, and tomorrow there will be another few lists and say A, B, C, D are exempted from this law. You can't run an economy like that. That is one. Secondly, we need to have a president who can be courageous enough to deal with the issue of petroleum subsidy. Nigeria's 2022 budget is almost 16 trillion, and we are paying 6 trillion for oil subsidy. What you need to understand is that 6 trillion naira is enough to connect all the 36 states with super highways and with straight light. All the 36 states. We can sacrifice the present for the future generations of Nigerians. But we are moving a point now, we are even borrowing to subsidize. The next president of Nigeria must decide on what to do with our overbloated federal civil service. The Orosai report is still there. Rationalization of ministries are there. We have to do the needful. We have to export. We have to export to get more dollars. Diversification of the economy. We have been talking about it since in the 80s. And we are still dependent. We have to tackle the issue of oil bunkering that is being called bunkering, whenever that word comes, stealing of Nigeria's crude oil. Our quota is supposed to be for production, it was 2.5 million barrels per day. We hardly reach 1.4, 1.5 because of activities of. So, and we have a navy, we have an air force, we have an army, we have a police that we are maintaining in our coastal waters, and our oils are being stealing everything. They are stealing our oil every day. So, what are we talking about? So, we can get Nigeria back to work, but we need a leader that will work in tandem with a team of people that share his own kind of ideology. If you look at Buhari as an opposition leader and Buhari as a president, are completely different people. As an opposition leader, he almost knows every problem in Nigeria and has all solutions to them. By the time he came in, he was surrounded by people who he was claiming destroyed Nigeria for 16 years. So they gave him the same thought and ideas on Nigeria's problem, and this is where we are. Well, I don't know what he has done about corruption. I actually don't know, because all what I know is that he has said so much about Nigeria, former government of Nigeria, about corruption, this and that. But if you look at what is happening today, it was a child play of what happened those days. Man is keeping ministers for 8 years, those that have not performed. It has reached a point where people have even finished their services ahead of agencies. They are extending their services. To even appoint a minister that will replace another minister, it takes him ages to do it. So what are we talking about? I'm just fed up. I pray and hope that Nigerians will unite and elect leaders that will deliver us and that will salvage the nation out of the situation which we have found ourselves.